Welcome to the Millennial Body Image Project. We're two licensed dietitian nutritionists bringing you conversations that cut through the food noise, debunk wellness trends, and remind you that it's not you, it's the systems stacked against you.
Together, we'll explore the struggles so many of us carry, challenge the fear-mongering that fuels them, and offer evidence-based, compassionate tools to support your body on its own terms.
Because your lived experience matters, and your body is not the problem.
Okay, cool. So, listeners, welcome back to the show. Today, I'm so excited to talk about clothes and body image and everything because this is something I think we all can relate to and we all can struggle with, whether you're in eating disorder recovery or not. So today we have Nicole Garfunkel on the show. She is a personal stylist for people in ED recovery. And when you emailed me before this, obviously, interview, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect because we've been looking for someone to come on to talk about this specifically, but I didn't know it was going to be a personal stylist, who has like a personal history with this also, which is great. So knowing that you do have a personal connection to all of this, I would love to know a little bit more about your story and how you got into this.
Yeah, totally. Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to chat. And I will just start off by saying that I find that there are so many parallels between style and food. You know, there are two things that we all interact with every single day, no matter like where you live, where you're from, what you do for work. So it's so poignant and they can both be so triggering in so many ways. So that's why I love to, help people with it, especially like people in the ED space. So I just wanted to say that at the top. But yeah, so I'm Nicole. I am from New Jersey. I'm a East Coast girl. And we love our East Coasters. Definitely have a specific personality. You learn that when you leave and you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, well,
and people are different.
Entire family is from New Jersey, so I fully get it.
Yeah, exactly. You're there. But yeah, so I have always loved fashion. It's like been a passion of mine since I was a little kid, like basically a baby. I never let my mom dress me or do my hair. I was like, no, Mom, at 2 years old, I got it. Like, I love doing this for myself, which she hated, but I loved. But it was always something that I wanted to pursue professionally as well. It was something that I just felt so strongly about through my whole life. And, I took steps to get there. Like I did classes at FIT on the weekends, and I did this like study abroad, if we want to call it that, like summer experience in Italy when I was 16 instead of having a sweet 16. So it was always something that I was working towards and something I always felt really passionately about. But when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with PCOS. And one of the symptoms that I interacted with the most was weight gain. And for those who have gone through that, you know that it can be like quite sudden and your body changes a lot. And, your body's changing a lot no matter what when you're in high school. But when you have a particular condition like that, it can be really jarring. And getting dressed for me was always something that I loved to do because of my passion for fashion. And when I was diagnosed with PCOS and my body changed, I actually started to hate getting dressed. It became this part of my life that felt like really confronting because your body is the center of your thoughts while you're getting dressed. And at the time I really had a hate relationship with my body. I was in a phase of really trying to change it because when you have PCOS, the quote unquote prescription is to lose weight. So you do a lot of like dieting so that, for me, set off the chronic dieting, the binge restrict cycle, and like all these negative things. So I was just generally in a negative headspace. Really hated my body and really hated getting dressed, which was really difficult for me, especially as someone who, again, was pursuing fashion in my career and about to go off to college to study fashion. Over the past like 15 years since I was diagnosed with PCOS, have kind of gone on this journey of figuring out like, how do I want to deal with this for myself without the intervention of dieting? Because again, that's like the main prescription that doctors give, and I didn't really resonate with that. It really wasn't working for me. And I luckily have a friend in my life who's a dietitian and introduced me to intuitive eating, and this kind of set off this like health journey for me of like defining what does health mean to me? How do I want to move my body and feel my body in a way that feels good versus like what I'm being told to do, like what I'm being told is going to work for me or should work for me, but really wasn't. And it allowed me to let go of controlling my body and then in turn, I felt like I was able to approach fashion again from this place of excitement and creativity. And again, this isn't like a quick turnaround. Like this took years and years. Like I don't have one particular moment that like fixed me, but over time I was able to reclaim fashion as this love of my life, this passion in my life. And I was working in the fashion industry when I graduated college, of course, and working in e-commerce. And I really just didn't feel passionately about it. It was just, one of those classic corporate jobs where you're just like clocking in, doing the things and leaving. And I had a period where I was trying to, figure out like, what do I want to do with my life? I really want to feel like more purposeful in my work because we spend most of our lives working and I don't want to be miserable most of my life. And I have a lot of memories and experiences where I would help my friends and family get dressed. And a lot of those people actually have a history of eating disorders or extreme disordered eating or extreme over exercising, like all of these different ways that people try to control their bodies. And when you help people get dressed, or when I did, it was really amazing to see the transformation in them because they would be like this shrunken version of themselves, really self-conscious. And when they wore an outfit that they loved with my help, they approached life in a completely different light, like from such a positive place, a place of confidence, a place of embodiment, a place of like not worrying about what people thought of them. And I really wanted to help people do that on a larger scale. So that's the long version of how we got here.
I love that. Well, hey, we're on a podcast. So you have plenty of time to do an even longer version if you wanted. But I think that like this is such a relatable experience. I mean, not only like the changing careers and everything and having that quarter life crisis that a lot of us do have when we change careers. I experienced that also. But then as we do experience body changes through high school, through college, as you get into your 20s and 30s, and then even when I'm sure you start to work with people who are in like perimenopause, and then when we get older, I feel like many of us have had many different fashion crises in our lives of like not knowing or not feeling like we know how to dress ourselves anymore or express ourselves through our clothes for one reason or another. But it's so common to see that when people do gain weight or their body shifts shape or size as part of either like a healing journey or a recovery journey, or you're going through something chronic health wise and you're like, okay, well, I'm already struggling, but like now I feel like I'm struggling more because of the way that other people I think are perceiving me when I show up in the world. And I know a lot of people can relate to hiding their body in baggy clothes or feeling like they don't know how to dress anymore. Or like every time you go to your closet and you feel sad about the clothes that like don't fit you anymore. Or you mentioned on your website, like getting dressed feels like a battle. So when you see people who are in this place, and I know a lot of people felt like this after COVID as well, how do you start with them?
Yeah, well, I think from a mindset perspective, we really have to ground ourselves in the fact that our bodies are constantly changing and we cannot control them. I think we're sold this idea that we can control our body shape and size, and we really just can't. And although that's really upsetting, it's just the truth. And so if we can just come to an accepting mindset of that, that's like a really great place to start. And yeah, like your body's going to change throughout your life, no matter what phase you're at. Like even, especially being a woman, like think about like the way your body changes in a month. Like we're all like a different size every single week, and it's really difficult to navigate. But if you stop fighting that, it doesn't feel like that battle anymore. But from a practical perspective, the place that I love to start is doing a closet clearing. And I call it a closet clearing because I think that it's a really energetic process. I think clothes and jewelry, accessories hold a lot of energy because, we associate ourselves with us and our personalities. And I think just like the act of like clothes, like just touching you all the time, it just carries a lot of energy spiritually if you're into that kind of stuff. So I love to start with the closet clearing. And if we open our closet or open our drawers or however you store your wardrobe every single day and see clothes that don't fit us, it's really disheartening to get dressed and you're not going to want to get dressed. And you're just starting your day off on a negative note. So the first thing we want to do is get those clothes out of there. And a lot of people ask me, like, my body size shifts a lot, like throughout the month or like year to year. Like it just depends. Like my body's changing pretty frequently and ebbing and flowing. And that could be true. And when you're in a particular phase, I think still putting the clothes away that aren't fitting you in the present moment is really important. And when I say that too, I mean like within 1 to 2 sizes of where you're at now. If you're like holding on to things that are like 5 sizes off from where you're at, like that's where we want to get rid of things. And although it can be really disheartening to get rid of clothes, just think of how much better you'll feel not staring at those things every single day. And of course, there's a grieving process that can happen with this. And a lot of my clients too, people ask me, I have this one item in my closet that I absolutely love, but it doesn't fit me anymore. And sometimes it's like a really specific item and it's something that you can't really get anymore. But I really urge people to get creative with that and make an investment in something if they really love it that much. I was talking to someone recently who said that she had a pair of like rose embroidered jeans that she used to love, and she had them like 8 years ago and she still thinks about them. And I was like, okay, well, if you still think about them, I think that you should either like get crafty, make them yourself, or get them custom made to fit your current body, because we are not out here trying to fit into clothes. We want the clothes to fit us. So yeah, that's the first step of the process. And of course, while clearing out the closet, we have the practical steps of like reorganizing as we put back in. And I also love to help people style outfits as we go, because there are so many outfits that you have in your closet that you probably haven't discovered yet on your own. It's just having a different perspective from someone who can style outfits in a way that's a little bit different. And I think, we all get really caught up in like wearing things the same way. But if we can view getting dressed as like this fun, creative activity, you can look at that one shirt that you love and be like, wait, how can I actually wear this differently? How can I make multiple outfits out of this one thing that I love to wear so much? And again, we're just expressing ourselves, we're being creative, and we're making it a more positive experience.
Yeah. I want to go back to one thing you said, because I think it's so, so important, is we're getting clothes to fit us rather than like trying to fit certain clothes. Because I think the message that we have all grown up with as millennials for so long is like, oh, you can only be X size, right? Like it was an achievement if you fit into, whatever the size was that you were trying to get to. And there was this ideal body type when we were all growing up, if you look at celebrities and everything. And it was like, most of us don't have not only that body type, but like even the possibility of getting to that body type, right? And so
Yeah.
I love how you emphasize that you don't need to change your body to feel confident or to look stylish, because I think growing up, there was a lot of emphasis around that. And like objectively, when clothes don't fit you well, you're not going to feel confident or feel stylish, right? So when you're trying to fit your body to the clothes rather than getting clothes to fit your body, it's almost like this self-fulfilling prophecy that you're going to feel bad already because you're not getting things that fit your body. And we're not talking about like apple shape, pear shape, like all these different things. I know you don't use that stuff, but do you remember those Cosmo quizzes that people used to have? It's like, oh, if you're like this and this, then you should only wear these clothes. And if you're this and this, then you should wear these low-rise jeans. And nobody looks good in low-rise jeans. Like, let's just.
Oh my God. The way that low-rise jeans have come back, and I'm so upset about it. Like, I'm not wearing them, obviously, but like the fact that they're back, and like I saw some people wearing some skinny jeans recently, and I was like, please, no. Why are we doing this again?
The only thing skinny jeans are good for is fitting into boots without spilling over the sides. That's it.
Yes, but also we can just do a straight leg jean.
Yes.
We don't even need the skinny. But yeah, I was a magazine freak when I was younger.
Same.
Like I love fashion magazines. I was obsessed with them. Before my parents moved out of my childhood home, I probably had like 500 magazines in there. And I wish I kept them, but they're all gone and I'm so upset. But yeah, I don't like to style people based on their body type, because I think that you should wear whatever is going to make you feel good on the inside. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. And I kind of feel the same way about trends. I think they're a really great guidepost if you're new to fashion and you want to experiment. I think they're great for that, because you have to try things to know if you like them. But if you don't follow the trends, that doesn't mean that you're not fashionable. And I think that there's so much pressure to keep up with trends. And I think it's wasteful, first of all, like from a sustainable standpoint. And also it just creates a lot of stress for people. You end up spending more money than you need to. And times are hard. We don't need to be spending money frivolously like that. So I really prefer to have people really decide for themselves what they find to be fashionable and to really stand by that. And it does, again, take that experimentation, but it's worth it, I think, in so many ways.
Yeah. And I know you do this too, but I think it's really important to emphasize to people when we're thinking about like what is fashionable, like what do I like, what do I look good in, is to really unpack that concept of like what good, quote unquote, looks like or feels like to you. Because when we were growing up, good means it was flattering on you, means you looked thinner, right? And I think unpacking why that is so problematic and trying not to continue to play into that narrative as we get older and we're trying to feel confident, feel more stylish, feel more fashionable, or just like feel good in your clothes is different than like quote unquote looking good in the sense of, oh, this makes me look thinner than I am, therefore I am like more accepted by society, or like I'm doing something good, you know? Oh gosh, it's just, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah, totally. And it is interesting too, because someone recently asked me about like what I think about compliments on like bodies and outfits. And I think that when it comes to bodies, I don't really think we should be commenting on people's bodies. I think we should more so be commenting on the person and who they are and how they make us feel and like their energy. But in terms of outfits, I think it like we all love a compliment. Like we can't deny that. It's natural. But I think it's more so the intention of it. And is it coming from a place of like, wow, you put together a really interesting outfit, or the color of that top really brings out the color of your eyes, or something like that. Like it just really depends on the intention. And it's not, again, about what's flattering. I think what's more interesting is playing with the proportions of the items that you're wearing or the actual silhouette and making it feel like you're building something. Like it's almost like a structural sort of thing versus like what's going to make my waist look thin, what's going to make my ass look bigger. Yeah. Like all of these things that society tells us we should be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you talk about learning to embrace your style, as we've been talking about, can really help you unlearn body shame. And ultimately, I think that's what we're getting at here, right? So I'd love you to talk about that a little bit more. You know, when you're working with people, what are some of the ways that you see them or help encourage them to like unlearn some of that learned and experienced body shame from growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to call back to the sizing conversation we were just having, because the number on the tag doesn't mean anything about you. And of course, there's like a mindset shift to that. Like it takes some time to get used to the fact that like the size is not what matters. And I think something that we can all ground ourselves into is that every single store has different sizing.
Yes.
And even within one store, you can be in multiple different sizes in like the same item, but in a different color. So that makes shopping really hard. And I think we often make it mean something about us. But again, the clothes should fit your body. You should not be changing yourself to fit the clothes. So that's definitely a main point. And I think it's really interesting to play with sizing too in terms of how you style outfits. So sometimes I'll wear something that's a size bigger because I want an oversized look to make it like a more structural outfit. Or sometimes I'll wear something that's a size smaller because maybe there's like a jacket that I like to wear more like a top. So it's more so just thinking about, again, bringing it back to the creativity element of like, how do I want to put an outfit together? And how can the sizing help me to do that without it meaning something about me? And this, it does take time, I think, to like work through that. And we have to do a lot of grieving, I think, in this whole process. There's like so much grieving that happens. We have to, I think, you know, obviously in eating disorder recovery, you're grieving this body that you want to have. You're also grieving the fact that like maybe your body does not fit the societal standard. And you're also grieving the fact that maybe you have to order online and you can't shop in a store. Depends on the person, but these are just some of the things that come up pretty frequently. But again, this doesn't mean that you are bad. There is no like pass fail element to all of this. It's more so just like, how can we make fashion work for you? And how can we make you feel good on the inside?
Yeah, and I actually think playing with sizing and going through that explanation with people, I use this example frequently, is a way to bring some neutrality into the way that you have attached yourself to a certain size, because of the fact that women's clothing sizing is so freaking confusing. Like you said, even within a certain store and within a certain like cut of jeans, depending on the wash or the color, you can be a different size, which is absolutely bonkers and like just stupid to begin with. But then store by store and country by country, and like everything has different sizing. And so I think when you're going into this and saying like, okay, if I'm going into whatever your favorite store is, whether it's online or in person, if you know going into it that you could be 5 different sizes, you could be a small all the way up to like a triple XL, or you could be like a large all the way up to multiple X and whatever. It's not that it says anything about you. Again, it's saying something about the absurdity of the store that they have so many different sizes and stuff. And I think that that is like a kind of funny, silly way to bring neutrality to that sizing and prove to yourself that, like, okay, well, if I can fit in 6 different sizes in this store, this doesn't say anything about me. Again, it says something more about the actual absurdity of the sizing. But then you can start to unpack that for yourself and maybe realize, oh, wow, I do have this association with different sizing, whether it's like a positive association with smaller sizes or like a negative association with bigger ones. Maybe you're realizing that's a thing that you have that maybe you never realized that you had before. And this is one way that you can start to bring some neutrality and also a little bit of fun and creativity into it. Like you said, of, maybe I want something to be a little bit more oversized, so I'm going to go on this side. Maybe I want it to be more fitted, so I'm going to go on this side. And it's just so complicated. Clothes are so complicated. We have so many feelings tied up in our clothes to the point where I feel like a lot of people are like, whatever, I'm just going to wear sweatpants every day, especially if you work from home, because it's easier to do that.
Yeah, but actually something that I preach is getting dressed even if you are working from home. This was a revelation that I had when I was still working a corporate job, and it was like during COVID, we were all wearing athleisure because we were unsafe and scared, and working from home was a new thing for a lot of people. So we were like, oh my God, I don't have to like get ready for the day. This is revolutionary. But after a while, I was like, you know what? I miss my clothes. I don't feel like myself. Like, I don't feel like I have any sort of benchmark of like any sort of transition in my day. I feel like I'm like basically in my pajamas all day. And that like kind of makes me feel like I am just relaxing all day, which I'm not. Like I'm logging on to work and like in meetings, and I can't feel like this. Like I'm not showing up as my best self in my work. So I made this decision to just like one day get dressed during COVID. And the whole day I was like, wow, I feel really like, I didn't really love my job, but I was like, I feel so much more like excited and present and motivated in my day. And so now, like, this is like almost 3 years later, I have to get dressed every single day before I start working, because otherwise I will simply not work. It signifies the transition from relaxation time in the morning to work time. And then sometimes I do change after work if I'm like doing a workout or like just lounging or whatever I have planned. But I think that it really changes the way that you show up. And this can be translated into any area of your life. I like to talk about like dating's a big thing too. So like if you put on an outfit that makes you feel really confident to go on your date, you're going to show up for that date. And I'm not saying that you have to dress in a way that's like sexy or like appealing to the male gaze or like whatever. Like you have to feel comfortable in your body so that you can show up as your full self and with your best foot forward. And so it's actually interesting for dates, I always recommend people not necessarily wear like really tight fitting clothes, which is like what you would think that someone would wear to a date, like just to look quote unquote sexy. But I love to actually have people wear more like baggy clothes or like oversized things because it's just more comfortable. And you don't want to be fidgeting when you're meeting someone new, even in like a networking sense or like any sort of sense in your life. Like you just want to feel comfortable. And so what does that look like for you? How can you mix the comfort and the confidence together so that you can build a wardrobe that feels fashionable for you?
Yes. I talk about this all the time, especially for the summer, because I also could swimming. So I'm outside and at the pool all the time. And if you are a person who is already super body conscious, there's no way to feel, let me rephrase this. You're definitely going to feel more body conscious if you're wearing like a very skimpy bikini. If you're wearing a one piece, you may feel more comfortable. And so even if it's like trendy or even if it's whatever, like, oh, everybody's wearing a 2-piece now, which like wear it if you want to. But if you don't want to, you don't have to, right? One pieces are 22 or like, tankinis or whatever are probably going to come back this next summer because the 90s and 2000s are back. But what I have always experienced for myself at, many different sizes in my life is if I am coaching or if I'm doing lessons or if I'm at the pool and I'm wearing something that is more exposing, I'm 100% more likely to be picking apart my appearance rather than something that is a little bit more coverage. And you're just not going to be picking apart your appearance as much. And so it's the same principle, I think, when you go into dates or when you're talking about work or if you're doing a networking event or something. The one thing you don't want to do is be constantly adjusting your clothes. This happened to me last year. We were going to this like fancy holiday event or something, and I got a dress from Rent the Runway, which is always a risk, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm only 5'3", right? And so I'm on the shorter side, and just the straps of this dress for so long, to the point where it was like gapping in the front. And I was like, if I don't want to flash every single person at this event, I'm going to have to be shoulders up and back the entire time, including when we were sitting down. And I was like, just so ramrod straight the whole time. And I was like, I will never do this again. Because yeah, the dress was really cool, but I was so uncomfortable the whole time. I like couldn't be present at the event. It was awful. Do not recommend.
Yeah, and you probably the whole time were like, I just can't wait to go home and rip off this dress.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, I can't be flashing people out here.
Yeah, and I want people to feel like present and confident when they step out of the house. And like, of course, there are some moments where like you're wearing something new for the first time and you're like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like I was at a wedding a few months ago and I was wearing a strapless dress, but I'm pretty big chested and I was adjusting all night. But like I haven't worn the dress before, so there's no way to know. But for your everyday life especially, we don't want you to be adjusting. We want you to be present and not thinking about your clothes. Think about your clothes while you're putting them on, and then we're not thinking about it again in the ideal situation.
Yeah.
But this is also why I actually, especially if you do work from home or you're at home a decent amount, depending on what your lifestyle is, I love to tell people to experiment the most when they are at home. Because if something isn't working, you can change it and iterate on it while you're in a space where you can do that, where it's not impacting the way that you're approaching any situation. Whereas if you're out and about, you really can't do anything about it. And again, you're thinking about going home the whole time. So when you do want to be experimental, which I do recommend because I think it can be really healing and can also teach you a lot about what you might like to wear and what you might not like to wear, do it at home where you can change it, where you can be in a safe space, and where you feel safe to, go out on a limb and try new things that maybe you can't imagine doing in public, like the bathing suit example. Maybe wear that skimpy bikini at home, see how it feels. And then if you do feel comfortable, maybe go out for like an hour in that thing. How can we kind of like microdose the moments until you're ready to fully wear it? But also, if you're never fully ready to wear something, that just means it doesn't work for you. And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of experimentation and like trying out things at home, I feel like a lot of people in recovery, or if your body has changed in any kind of way, will avoid full-length mirrors, knowing that it can be really triggering for them. And so if you're dealing with someone who has a history of like a lot of body checking throughout the day in mirrors, whether it's at work or at home or whatever, how do you work with that? Like if they're just trying to check out their cute new outfit?
Yeah, I think as much as you can, doing it with someone, I think is really helpful because then you won't get into that loop of like, wanting to keep checking. I'll have clients send me pictures of their outfits just to like, keep them accountable, and it's fun to like share your outfits with people. Maybe just having them take a picture, send it to me, and then I'll chat with them for a little bit after, so it like kind of distracts them. I kind of like to recommend people add things to their life in order to move away from the mirror. I know when you put on your makeup, you're looking in the mirror, but like maybe like you put on your outfit and then you put on your makeup after. You know what I mean? Like not focusing on the body as much, focusing on actually like physically doing something. Or maybe I'm going to like make my coffee after I get dressed. So now I have to move away from the mirror. But yeah, it's definitely really challenging. And especially like when you're going to a store and trying things on, you're obviously staring at a mirror for an extended period of time. But similarly, bookending it with things that you enjoy and things that make you feel good in your body, I think is really helpful. And, getting support throughout the process is really important too.
Yeah. I was just going to ask about shopping tips because you have something on your website and you talk about trauma-informed and body-neutral shopping tips.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to give away everything, but...
Oh, no, I'm ready.
Yeah, give us some of your top shopping tips, like when people have gone through body changes or they're emerging from their cocoon of wearing basically like at-home pajamas or sweatpants or whatever. What are some of your tips there?
Yeah, so I can just walk you through a day of shopping, what I recommend people do. So again, bookending with something you love, beginning and end of day. So whatever that looks like to you. It can be like, I don't know, I have one client who loves to dance before she gets dressed. So if you love dancing, maybe it's like dancing, or maybe it's like going to get a coffee or having some time outside, going for a walk, listening to a podcast, reading a book, whatever. And then same thing after, like doing something you really enjoy, because sometimes you're going to have a negative shopping experience and we want to make sure that you don't just go home and feel really defeated. We want to kind of bring you back out of that. Like definitely feel the emotions, but how can we go on the up and up from there? Also, I really recommend that you get ready to go shopping. Like don't go in your day 4 greasy, messy bun with no makeup if you usually wear makeup. Like obviously like you don't have to like do it up like you're going to like a big event, but like get ready in the way that you normally get ready for like your day to day, because it's easier to conceptualize what outfits are going to look like if you have your hair done, if that's something you do, or if you have your hair freshly washed, or like if you have a little makeup on, or maybe you're wearing like a pair of glasses that you always wear. Like we want this to be as realistic as possible, and we want you to feel your best going into the situation. And usually we don't feel our best when we're on day 4 greasy hair. I know I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really great. And I think that also helps with the looking in the mirror constantly, is like, oh, you're looking at like a version of yourself that you feel like more put together, all ready to start, regardless of what the clothes are going to look like. Also, eat before you go. If you shop on an empty stomach, oh boy, it's not going to be pretty.
Just like grocery shopping on an empty stomach.
Exactly. And if you're like me and you get hangry, you're going to be hangry the whole time. That's not a good experience. So, and if you aren't going to eat before, make sure you bake in time, like plan where you're going to get a snack during your shopping trip. Or even if you did eat, also plan when you're going to get a snack, because you're probably going to get hungry. Shopping makes people hungry. It really does. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just like the walking around and the stress and all of that, but I'm always hungry at the end of a shopping trip. Also, I would say bringing a trusted person with you is really important. So whether that be a family member or a friend or someone like me, I love to go shopping with my clients and to support them in that process. So that way you're not alone and you're not having a freak out. And also I think, when you're trying things on in the dressing room and you need another size, or maybe you want to like run out, but like you don't want to put all your clothes back on, you have someone with you to go run out for you. And it's just so much less stressful when you have someone there you can rely on to help you in a shopping situation. Another thing too is like mapping out where you're going to go ahead of time, especially like if you're not going to a mall. Like maybe if you live in like New York City, for example, and you're like, oh, I want to shop in Soho, but like I don't know where to go. Like that can end up being very chaotic very quickly. Also cell service, and you don't want your battery to die. So I think just like having a list of a few places you want to go to is really great ahead of time. And I think those are the main tips, actually. Yeah, those are my tips. And also I will say, I personally prefer to shop online because I love to try on in my home. I love controlling the music and the lighting, and also being able to have access to my closet while I'm trying things on, because then I can see like, oh, is this thing that I'm trying on that I like actually going to fit in with my wardrobe? Because sometimes there are things that fit us and that we like, but we're like, you know what? Like, I don't think I'm actually going to wear this. Like, I don't think this really works with the wardrobe that I have currently. So I think it's like, how can you make the experience feel as comfortable as possible for you? And sometimes that does look like staying at home and just browsing online. There are some stores, though, actually, that do have really great dressing rooms these days, because I know dressing rooms are notoriously really hot and bright lighting and really a negative experience. But 2 stores that I have been to recently that have an actual good experience in the dressing room are Abercrombie and Reformation.
Yeah.
Both of them have this panel, which is really cool. If you haven't gone, you should definitely go check it out, where you can choose the lighting. They have like different settings. You can change the music volume. At Reformation, they have the screen and you can choose clothes that you want to try on. And there's a closet in the dressing room, and you just close the doors of the closet, and in the back, it's like facing the inventory room. They fill the closet for you. You don't have to leave the dressing room.
That's so cool. Oh my God.
It's awesome. So so that's a good shopping experience solo, because you don't have to worry about running around, which is really great. So yeah, there's some improvements happening in the dressing room field, but yeah, it definitely can be stressful. So again, I just want to stress, like, ending the day with something that you like to do, or like getting a meal with the friend or the person that you're with, can really help to like ease the tension of the day. Oh, the last thing if you're buying for like a specific event, and I feel like the main one that I'm thinking about in my life right now is weddings.
Yeah.
Do not wait till the last minute. Same with like buying bathing suits for the summer. I would just look throughout the year, because once May rolls around, the stock is low on the bathing suits and you're stressed. You're about to go to the beach and you don't have anything to wear, and bathing suits are extremely stressful to try on as it is. Like sizing is already difficult enough, let alone like thinking about a bathing suit. So set yourself up for success by giving yourself ample time and not waiting till the last minute to find something.
It's so funny we mentioned Abercrombie here because they have come so far. For
Yes.
millennials. Fun fact
I
about
know.
me, I don't think the listeners have ever heard this before, but I actually worked at Abercrombie in high school. Throwback.
Is your nose okay?
My nose is funny. It's so funny because, like, I was a swimmer in high school, too, and my friends, after I would go to work, they would be like, oh, my God, I just need to smell you, because it would be the Fierce cologne or whatever it was, plus the chlorine of the pool, the mix. They were like, oh, my God, this is so good. But, yeah, working there back then was wild. Just, like, so problematic on so many levels, and just, like, everyone who worked there, I mean, insider info, we were only really allowed to wear like Abercrombie clothes when we worked there. You could wear plain stuff that didn't have any logo on it, but it definitely was like encouraged that you would buy Abercrombie clothes. But if you just think about like the smells, all the like potentially anorexic models and stuff that were working there, and then we'd look at it now, it's like, oh, friendly dressing rooms, more inclusive sizing. Like, this is crazy. We've come so far.
I know, it's funny. Like, I used to never be able to shop there when I was young, because I'm like tall and curvy, and like I went through puberty very quickly and was like in my adult body at age 12. And my sister was able to shop there and I wasn't, and it was always so disheartening. And like,
Yeah.
they had the shirtless models like
Basically
standing
naked.
outside the store in New York City. It looks truly basically naked. But yeah, it was so crazy how disordered it was. And there's a documentary that came out about it. I don't know if you've seen it. It's really good. You should watch it. I don't remember the name. I could look it up after and send it to you. But now, yeah, like you said, like they're so much more inclusive. They like have curvy and tall and petite sizing. They have extended size range, and they're not really like touting these shirtless models anymore. It's like a full 180, and it's great. I think that's exactly how a brand should be responding. I think they're a
Yes.
great case study in that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this has been so fun. So I do have one more recommendation question for you. So I know you're really big on digitizing your closet. Do you have recommendations for that, or like anti-recommendations? Because I know there are a lot of apps out there, or do you use your own? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, so I currently use an app called Wearing. I think it's spelled Whering. That's a good one. There's a new one that I downloaded but haven't used yet, so I cannot completely vouch for it, called Alta.
Okay.
And I believe it uses AI to like put your clothes on like an AI model. So again, don't quote me on this, but this is just one that I know of. And then there's one called Index that I've used a little bit. I think definitely take a look at them, like see which one resonates for you. But another thing that you can do without like actually using one of these apps is you can just take pictures of yourself like wearing clothes. And you know how on I guess if you have an iPhone, on iPhone pictures, if you like hold your figure, you can copy it. So you can do that with like you wearing specific outfits and just have like a note in your phone of your closet, or even like taking a picture of like one item at a time and doing that like hold to copy it and pasting it into the note on your phone. I think that's really handy too. But yeah, it definitely takes some time to digitize your closet, but it is a game changer in so many ways. I love it for so many reasons. One of them being that you don't need to try on your clothes to try on outfits. You can like literally in bed just be like scrolling through your closet and be like, what can I put together? Also, I feel like, when you're going on a trip, it's really helpful for outfit planning, or even like if you go into an office 5 days a week and you don't like to wake up early to pick out outfits, you can plan your outfits on Sunday. That's a really great way to use it. And also, I think, taking pictures of your outfits is a really great way to notice the trends in what you're wearing. And then you can see like what actually is working for you in your closet versus what's not. Like there's probably going to be certain things that you've added to your digitized closet that you've just not touched. And then to get rid of it without having to be like, oh, I got to do a full closet clean out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would highly recommend like having a day and just taking a picture of all of the things in your closet and having it right there in your phone. It's just so helpful. Also, when you're shopping, when you're out and about, you can be like, oh, like, I like this pair of pants. What in my closet does this work with?
Oh, yeah.
So kind of like I was saying, like, I like to try on my clothes at home because I can see my full wardrobe. But if you have it digitized and you really do like to shop in store, you have it right there for you to see.
True. Oh, love that. Great tip. All great tips, honestly. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on today. I know a lot of people will resonate with this and we'll send them to all of your places. So on that note, tell people all the places they can find you.
Totally. So my website is stylingconfidential.com and I am on Instagram and TikTok at styling_confidential. And I also have a Substack, which is Styling Confidential.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm super accessible. I love to chat and yap, even on personal notes. So if anything, like truly, if anything resonated with you, I'd love to hear. And you can learn more about my services on my website. And we can definitely chat about what that could look like for you and how we can make your wardrobe feel like a safe place and this thing that can help you live the life that you want to live in recovery.
I love that. All right. Thank you again for coming on. This is great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.